but you're not right. I don't know what we've been struggling for. We give a little less just to take some more.
Welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Sarah Bernard here with Mama's Blue Dress band member Andrea Young. We've just been listening to some of your music as we were coming in. It's beautiful. So you're the violinist, fiddler on that CD and that song, as well as the vocalist.
Yes. I think actually it's one that we're going to add to the Mama's Blue Dress set soon.
Okay, so it's a song that you wrote. Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that. So you're a writer and a performer, a studio musician in Nashville.
Yes.
And so at what point did you decide it was important to move to Nashville to perform your music?
I started going back and forth around 2004, which is really possible. We're only 4.5 hours away.
Right.
So I just felt like the scene there was better for original music. And I loved what I was doing in St. Louis, but it seemed like there was just so much of a wider playing field in Nashville, and I wanted to give it the best shot I could. And I love country music, so Nashville really seemed to be the place to be.
Yeah, so do you feel that the opportunities for professional musicians are greater no matter what style of music you play in Nashville, or do you think there's still opportunities here in St. Louis?
I definitely think there are opportunities in St. Louis. There's some really great studios here in town and a lot of places to cut your teeth, and you can have a career here in St. Louis. It's just, so I think it sort of depends on what you wanted to do. I wanted to, get into touring with national acts and, develop my artist projects. All of them. So it seemed to make sense to do that just with a wider pool of people as well in Nashville.
So, and you talked about you're traveling, you're working a lot in Nashville. I mean, you're up here obviously to do a couple concerts in the St. Louis area. So what is a week like in the life of Andrea Young?
I said yesterday that it was a lot of scribbling in a calendar. I still have the old school
paper calendar.
Oh, paper calendar, and there's a lot of scribbles involved. But it's a mix. I still teach some violin lessons. I'm doing the recording, so every day it's an adventure, which is wonderful because I'm into constant change. So, one day, next Tuesday, I'm playing the Ryman, and on Friday we're playing the beer barrel. Where I'm going from every possible place. I've got a wardrobe emergency on Monday to be costume for another band. I mean, it's constantly changing.
Yeah, so how far out does your calendar go?
Right now, I've got some things on the books for next year. Actually, Mama's Blue Dress things. So a couple shows that we're doing, and for the most part, though, it's usually 2 months that are pretty full, straight out, and then it just kind of, as I creep closer, it fills in.
Yeah, and the studio work, does that just fall in between? If you've got a free day, you pick up a job, or?
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of producers in Nashville are flexible, and I'm an overdub person, so I get to usually be the last person that comes in and plays.
Right.
Can be tricky sometimes when it's a full track.
Yeah.
But it's also ideal for schedule because I can go in after hours.
So you don't need to be there when all the other musicians are there.
Sometimes I am, and that's a great treat, but it's okay if I'm not too.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about your concerts in the St. Louis area. We've got tomorrow night at the Beer Barrel Pub in Godfrey, 10 o'clock.
Yes.
10 p.m. for the Night Owls, which
Yes.
is a great time to get out and hear some good music in a small venue, which would be kind of fun to hear you guys.
It's just going to be so wonderful to see all of these people that have supported us with the Kickstarter. So I think it's great to be in a venue instead of just a house.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but the big concert in 2 weeks from today, October 24th. At the Sheldon.
Yes.
Have you played the Sheldon before?
I have. I've played there a few times before, and I feel like it is the medium, the perfect medium for Mama's Blue Dress.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's fabulous acoustics. It's an intimate facility, but a good size audience.
Yes.
So, how can we get good tickets to that concert?
If you go to the sheldon.org, they have tickets available there. I believe there'll also be tickets available at the door. So I think you can call ahead and get them.
Yeah. And how can we follow Mama's Blue Dress?
Mama's Blue Dress has a website. It's www.mamasbluedress.com, as well as a Facebook and a Twitter and all of those all of those things.
Social media outlets. Okay, great. Well, Andrea, thank you so much for coming to STL TV all the way from Nashville, and I'm excited to see your concert in a couple weeks at the Sheldon. So I want to thank Andrea again for visiting with me, and remember the Kickstarter Supporters Concert is at the Beer Barrel Pub in Godfrey, Illinois, tomorrow night, October 11th, and later in the month on October 24th, Mama's Blue Dress, all 4 of them, will perform at the Sheldon Concert Hall. In case you missed it, we'll have all the details for you again at the end of today's show. Stay tuned. Next up, we'll learn more about Gateway to Hope and their work with women fighting breast cancer. We'll be right back.